What up, guys? Doing some meal prep chicken, lamb, and rice this time. Here I am heading to the gym for back day, just early morning. And here's the lamb meat, it's lamb neck. It was pretty inexpensive, about $6 each. And here's the chicken thighs. I got it with skin and bone in for a little cheaper price. First things first, gonna clean and prep all my meats. Start with the chicken thighs. Gonna take the bone and skin off. You could get them skinless, but it's a little cheaper if you buy it with everything in it. So here I am, just peel the skin off, just take a good grab of it. Just rip it right off. Not too complicated, pretty simple. Doing all the chicken thighs. So for cutting the bone out, I cut around the cartilage. I'm gonna show you in a second. Right around that area where the bone and cartilage are, I cut around it, and then I cut down the middle where you see a little seam of fat is, you see, and then I cut around the bone to take everything out. And I just repeat that process a few times to all the meats, getting them all ready, taking that bone out again. And again, you can get it skinless if you don't feel like doing all this. It's just going to be about a few dollars more expensive. After that's all done, I cut off the extra fat. I don't get it all, but just to lower the amount of fat that there's going to be in the meats, just to skim off the top. And this is the finished product, just regular skinless, boneless chicken thigh. Now I'll bag up all the bones and giblets, I guess. Throw it all away, get that all cleaned up. Now to the marinade, we're going to be using some browning, some liquid smoke, and some water to make a base for the marinade. And then for the seasoning, we're using some Kinder's Steakhouse, some paprika, some smokehouse maple, and some brown sugar maple. First, I start with the base, just a little bit of water, liquid smoke, and the browning. And then I add the chicken to it. I do it in by layers. And then I season on top of it in between each layer. So I'll put about 4 or 5 in there, add some seasoning, 4 or 5 more, add some more seasoning, just so there's enough seasoning to go around for the flavor. Then I'm gonna give that all a good shake, mix it all up, and this is how it's gonna look. That's how it looks all done, nice and marinated. Now onto the lamb. I bought lamb neck This was a first, but I didn't realize there were still bones in the meat, so I had to debone them. Took a little longer than expected. So this time for the seasoning, we're using adobo, some sweet preacher, and some maple brown sugar again. And this is me realizing that there's these huge neck bones and vertebrae in the meat. So I'm like, dang it, gonna have to cut them out. But it's not a big deal. They were only like $5-6. It's not a big deal. And here's just how big the bone is. I'll show you here. Next time I'm probably just gonna get lamb shoulder or something with more meat on it. This ended up being kind of a side dish on top of the chicken because it didn't yield so much meat, but it still tasted very good. So this time I just put the seasoning straight on the meat. I'm gonna put this in the crock pot. So I'm keeping the bones this time. Just gonna season the meat, let it sit for about a day. I put each piece in, try to spread out the seasoning as much as possible, and just get it ready for that crock pot. It's gonna sit there and simmer for a while, so I want a good amount of seasoning on it. And then I'm gonna add the bones on top of that to make it kind of like bone broth with the water. So it should taste very good, and it did actually turn out very good. So fast forward to the next day. Meat's been marinating for the day. I'm gonna add the lamb meat into the crock pot before I go do my leg day. So here's how the meat looks. And adding the bones into it. I'm gonna just add some water, just enough water to submerge the bones. And then I'm gonna add the meat on top of that. So it should make a nice broth when I come back. And added a bouillon cube just for some extra flavor. And I love the smoky flavor, so we had a little bit of liquid smoke to it. It was the very last bit, so I threw some water in there, shook it up, added it to the lamb. Here's the before, and off to the gym to do legs. Bye. And here's the after. The lamb looking nice and delicious. Went to Sam's, got some broccoli. Here it is. It comes in a fork. So for the sides, it's going to be broccoli and rice, just very basic. But this is some basmati rice I got from Sam's Club, 20-pound bag. It comes in a 4-pack for the broccoli, but I'm just using 2 this time. So here's how it looks. And we're going to be cooking 2 cups of rice. First, wash my rice. No, you don't need to, but I prefer it this way. I use some warm water and just rinse it until it's nice and clear. Once it's no longer off-white, just nice and clear in the water. And strain it out. And then add 4 cups of water to a pot and bring it to a boil. I like to add a bouillon cube and some sazon to my rice. I like the color and the flavor it brings. Um, so you're welcome to try any way you want to make your rice, but this is how I make it. Also add some sea salt for those who don't like salt in their diet. You could obviously avoid this step, but I just add a little bit of sea salt for flavor. I like salty rice. While the rice water is heating up, we're gonna start our broccoli. So I just put it in a pan, like a saucepan, with some water, just a little bit of water, maybe less than a cup, to start steaming it. And now that our rice water is boiling, time to add the rice. I gave it a quick stir because the bouillon cube, the sazon, and the rice, just to mix it all together and get all the ingredients everywhere. You don't have to, but I prefer it. So this is a finished product of 3 hours in the crock pot with the lamb meat. So we're going to take that out and get that ready for the meal prep. Once the rice starts boiling, take the heat down to about medium heat, and then once it gets even lower where you can't see any water, take it down to low. And here we are trying to get the lamb ready for the meal prep. Gonna dice it up, but it was so tender I didn't even need to cut it. I just used some forks and pulled it apart. So we had some surprise pull apart lamb. And here's the finished product. Nice and tender. I'll give you a up close look. Lamb neck. The rice is all done. It's been sitting on low for about 10 minutes. It's all dried out. And the broccoli is starting to steam. Once it's fully steamed, we'll add the second bag of broccoli to it. Now, getting ready for the chicken. We're gonna bake it at 350. I don't know why I turned it up. I knew it was gonna be at 350. And here's the chicken after a day of marinating. Looks about the same, but it's all filled with flavor. So I add the chicken to a wire rack on top of a pan. I put aluminum foil just so it's less cleanup. Just laying it out. A little space between, not too much. It's gonna shrink down when it cooks. I bake it covered in aluminum foil for about 45 minutes, and then I remove it for the last 10 to 15 minutes and cook it on broil. So here's that. Here's how it looks after 45 minutes. And here's after broiling it for 10 minutes. Now it's time for chopping. Let's get the black gloves out. chicken all ready for meal prep. Now on to the meal prep. We're doing 150 grams of rice, 150 grams of chicken thighs, 50 grams of lamb, and 100 grams, about 100 grams of broccoli.